like fan shop or some shit. But this was like 2 years ago, or maybe longer. It was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get a draft hat. I'm not paying $40 for a fucking hat. So I mean,
No. And honestly, this is new. Oh yeah, because like a lot of this shit is Nike. I ain't buying a fucking thing that's Nike. Nike can literally engulf my shit. I'm not buying shit that's Nike. Fuck them.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is this a political thing?
No. I'm just not a Nike person.
Perfect. Well, just so you know, we are live,
Yeah,
my friend.
I see the recording. Give a fuck. I'm not buying anything Nike.
Excellent. Well, folks, as you caught by our unique intro that we had there by comparison, we're back. This was a segment we've been talking about, been hyping up for the last handful of days. David, why don't you take it home for us, my friend?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Uncommon Man podcast. Hey, man, you already know how it go. Everything is off the cuff, unscripted. Just we let the bullets fly here. Real quick, like, share, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and let's get into this. When we talked a couple days ago, we said that we was going to introduce our second installment of the Uncommon Man podcast fantasy draft. So tonight we're going to do running backs. Now, honestly, I have not seen Mike's running back lineup picks. We're doing 1 through 15, and from what he tells me, they're very different. So it's going to make for a interesting conversation tonight. Now, remind a little bit of my background. I played running back my whole entire life. I even played running back in college. So the way I look at running backs may be different from how other people look at running backs. Only because I played the position, I played in different offenses. So I have a different perspective on what I look at when I look at running backs.
Dude, here's the other thing about this, folks, is you got to remember, nobody is a true expert. Anytime you see even these clowns on NFL, you see these fat little nerds who are quote-unquote fantasy draft experts, that's horseshit, dude. I mean, there's no way to predict the metrics of how a season is going to play out. There's so many algorithms involved. You have no idea if somebody's going to get injured. You have no idea whether or not somebody's going to hold out for the season. Like I said, there's so many factors thrown in here that just changes up the matrix in so many different ways. So this right here is just kind of a guideline that you can go through, have it in the back of your head when you're sitting there thinking about the stuff that we think about when we're drafting as well, and taking into account some certain things. And given the fact that I'm sober tonight, I'll be a little bit more coherent when I'm sitting there breaking stuff down for you guys. So you'll enjoy that one.
Yeah. And also, last time we did 1 through 10 on quarterbacks, because typically your quarterback is going to be your staple of your roster, period. But running backs, you already know, running back in the NFL is pretty much a running back by committee. You have more than one. So that's why we stretched it out to 15. We feel like 15 is going to be the good number to kind of gauge, who's going to be, fantasy-wise, who's going to be our best bang for the buck.
So this right here.
Ready?
Yeah, and one more thing to throw in here too before we start, guys, is keep in mind this is just strictly the running back section. We'll get into flex players a little bit later on before the season starts. So we'll have a breakdown of that as well. But these are actually the running backs that when you're sitting there looking, taking players to fill up your roster from week to week, because most rosters have at least 2 running backs on there plus the flex player. These are some good options for you when you're in the earlier rounds of the draft. So, all right, buddy, without further ado, you ready to rock?
Let's go.
All right, my friend, what do you think?
Okay. 2 Georgia running backs, baby. I like it. Mine, Swift was number 15 for me, right?
Correct.
I believe. Okay. Yeah.
Judging by that big number right there, yeah, I would think so.
Okay, cool. So I went with DeAndre Swift for Detroit. And the reason why I went for DeAndre Swift for Detroit is because Detroit it's going to be one of those shit or, hey, you either perform or you're fired this year. So I think DeAndre Swift in that offense with old Matty Stafford, I think he's going to be a baller. Now, he's similar to Ty Gurley. He can run, block, catch. He's still a rookie, but he was one of the more prolific, ready running backs out of this recent draft class. So that's why I picked him at number 15.
I love it. So DeAndre Swift, spoiler alert, was one of my bubble players. I was sitting there contemplating throwing him in. If it weren't for the fact that the Detroit offense is not very reliable, and also he's going to be starting out, he's sharing carries with Kerryon Johnson, who had a really crap season last year, which, I mean, it's par for the course. A guy does every season. But he's hit and miss on there. So I think in the beginning, they're still going to rely on Kerryon Johnson, just knowing how old school Matt Patricia is and how much he tries to follow the Belichick scheme of run this guy till he dies kind of deal. So that was the only reason I didn't throw DeAndre Swift into my list. But yeah, Todd Gurley, with him going to Atlanta, him especially being the key running back there, that he doesn't really have any contention. He's going to put up a lot of points. I don't really have much faith in the Atlanta offense recently, and I don't know how Todd Gurley is going to bounce back after all these severe injuries he's had. So either way, he's going to be good. He'll be a decent pickup. Doesn't matter where you pick him up in fantasy. But at the same time, I didn't think he was good enough to crack top 10.
Yeah, the problem with Todd Gurley for me, and especially with him going to Atlanta, let's face it, him with the Rams, he had a way better offensive line, and they don't have near as good of an offensive line in Atlanta. And it's a lot of talk. He has let's face it, he has a degenerative knee.
Right.
I mean, he's tore how many times has he tore the same ACL?
I think 3.
3 fucking. That's a lot,
at least,
bro.
What was
for
it,
a running back at a running back position, for him to tear his ACL 3 times. I don't know how much more he has, but when he's healthy and when he's ready to go, I mean, let's face it, Todd Gurley is one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just not confident how he's going to be in the Atlanta offense with, yes, they have some interior players, but not enough. I mean, it's maybe 1 or 2 guys on the offensive line of 5. I mean, if they had maybe 3 or 4, I'd be a little bit more confident in Todd Gurley, but nah, I'm kind of on the bubble on that guy.
Perfect. All right, buddy, on the next one. Speaking of your guy.
Ooh, okay. So I had Todd Gurley at number 14. So, yes, he's a little bit lower on the list because of everything that I just stated. I mean, that's pretty much all I got, and that's why I put him at 14. I had to put him over Swift because, let's face it, Todd Gurley's been in the league a lot longer. Swift is a rookie coming in, so I got to put him ahead of that.
Agreed. I have Raheem Mostert on here. I know he's not going to hold out. Got to be out of his fucking mind. He's not making enough money. San Francisco's ended up compensating him a little bit more. I'm sure they'll meet in the middle somewhere when it comes to a contract update.
But he flat out asked for a trade, though. It's not that he's holding out. I think
that was just all that was just currency leverage, dude. You and I both know it. He's got, who the fuck's going to pick him up at this point in the season? Nobody. It's just like Jamal Adams right now. He's sitting there saying, "Pay me or trade me." It's like, dude, who is going to trade the house to come get you? I'm sure I'm going to eat my words in a couple of days with whatever this groundbreaking news is supposed to be with Philadelphia. But in the meantime, the difference between Jamal Adams is highly desirable. Raheem Mostert, I mean, he would be a secondary running back for most of the teams. So he's a starting caliber running back in San Francisco. He's well apprised with the scheme. They're going to utilize him. It's just a matter of when, not if. So he'll be back on the field for San Francisco, but he'll have a good season. Tevin Coleman's getting older, and he's not nearly as good as Raheem Mostert. Like I said, they'll be all right.
All right. Let's rock to number 13. Okay. All right. So I have Joe Mixon at 13. The reason why I have Joe Mixon at 13 is because I liked what Cincinnati done this past offseason and in the draft as far as stacking offense and also stacking the defense as well. But so we'll focus on the offense. I like what they've done. I like the direction that they're going in. So that's why I got Joe Mixon. Now, he's a little bit lower on my list. I mean, it's Cincinnati, man. I mean, people don't even have a fucking indoor facility when it's fucking cold as shit outside. So it's hard for me to rank him up top with the elites. But I think he's going to, be valuable.
Agreed. So I have Eckler right here. Last year he was at number 7. The reason I have him higher up this year has nothing to do with his talent. I think Austin Eckler is a fantastic talent. He's going to be a great running back in the NFL for a while. His biggest issue right now is the inconsistency of the quarterback with San Diego. Yeah, I'm still calling him San Diego. I refuse to accept the fact that they moved to LA. Even LA refuses to accept the fact they moved there. So,
You're a fucking third, third choice. What? Not the fucking fourth choice in LA. Hell, even fucking the UCLA Bruins got more pull in the fucking town than they do.
absolutely, they never wanted him in the first place. It's going to go down in history as one of the all-time move busts, dude. It was an absolute mistake. But yeah, so Austin Eckler, so Tyrod Taylor is going to play the first quarter of the season. He's going to get benched at some point in time throughout the year. I just don't foresee him ending up being a starting QB. Obviously, you agree with me. So he's going to spend the majority of the season trying to play hero ball. So he's going to keep rolling outside the pocket and throwing the football down the field instead of Austin Eckler made all of his points last year as a scat back. So he was catching everything from out of the backfield, all the check down passes because Phillip Rivers, he just doesn't have the arm strength he used to. So until Justin Herbert takes over, Austin Eckler's beginning a season is really, really going to be hindered because that's all Herbert does. I mean, you look at the Oregon offense; they had the highest amount of check down rate in both the NFL and NCAA last year. So until that happens, like I said, Eckler's numbers are going to be kind of compressed.
Okay. On to number 12. Yeah, boy. So, so for anybody listening to this, when I did this, I was being petty as fuck when I picked Melvin Gordon at 12. Dude, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing this whole comparison to him and Phil Lizzie. I'm fucking over it. I'm done. I don't want to hear his bullshit no more. People need to shut the fuck up and accept the fact that they brought Melvin Gordon in for a reason. If Philip Lindsay was the guy, they would not have brought Melvin Gordon in. Again, Pat Shermer came in, he looked over the offense, and he decided, hey, something is missing at the running back position. I don't have that thumper. I don't have that bell cow. I don't even have a receiving running back. So guess what? He had to go out and get one. And if Pat Shermer can make Melvin Gordon even half of what Saquon Barkley was in New York, which I think that's what he's trying to do. You know, Melvin Gordon is a pretty damn good running back. I mean, I don't give a fuck what anybody say. I mean, he can do all three things. He can run, block, catch. So with our high-powered offense this season, I think he's going to eat. But also, I was being a little petty when I threw him in there. So it is what it is, bro.
I love it. All right, buddy. So here's the other rookie on the list. I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What more needs to be said, dude? We knew he was the best running back coming in the draft. There was no argument. Both of our heads almost hit the table when Kansas City drafted him. He's going into it doesn't matter. As soon as that guy takes a snap, it automatically the title of that team becomes super powered offense. Like I said, with Edwards-Helaire, the ability he has to do all three of those things you just mentioned, his rookie season is going to be brutal. He's definitely a good pick.
Now, do you think he's going to be as high powered with them having Damian Williams? I mean, you know, he showed up pretty good last year.
Absolutely. You know, why would they? If they had any concerns, they would have picked Edwards-Helaire up in the second round. They picked him up in the first round.
Well, not that there was any concerns or anything. You know, hey, you know, I thought Damian Williams did play pretty good last year. So I mean, it's going to be
Kansas City
split.
It's a Kansas City offense, dude. They make any running back looks good in that system.
That's true.
So I like I said, and especially the talent that he had coming out of school. I've never seen Andy Reid draft a first-round running back. I can't recall any point in time he has. So if he went out of his way to draft this guy in the first round, there's something special about him. So and like I said, we all saw it on film. The guy single-handedly carried parts of LSU's offense, dude. So I mean, he's just a fantastic running back. But enough sucking him off. We'll get on to the next people. Bam!
Oh, Chubby and Jones. Okay. So I got Bradley Chubb. No, Nick Chubb, you fuck.
Oh! I'm an idiot.
Well, hey, either way, Bradley Chubb, Nick Chubb, Cousins, it's all in the same family. Who gives a fuck? So I got Nick Chubb at number 11. The reason why I have him at number 11 is because I think there's going to be some revitalization of Cleveland's offense. Fingers fucking crossed. If they don't do it this year, fucking trade and release everybody that you have on the fucking offense because you're not going to do it. Your time is running out pretty much. With their Cleveland is easy to scheme, okay? If you take away their throwing game and if you take Baker Mayfield out, then that leaves room for Chubb to come in and just eat up yards. He's good at the backfield. Again, he can do all three. He can run, block, catch. That's why I got him at number 11.
I love it, dude. Yeah, Bradley Chubb's going to be a great running back this season. So.
Oh, for sure. And Nick Chubb is going to have a lot of fucking sacks.
He's going to be a great DN. Jesus, what a dummy I am, man. So I've got the other Aaron from the Green Bay Packers as the running back for me. Jones isn't going to have as good of a season this year. The way that they drafted, he doesn't have the support.
No help.
They're going to rely on him, and that's going to be fine. But I honestly think that this is going to be a season of turmoil in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones is one of those guys where he was a breakout star last year because he single-handedly carried the team. And I think at this point in time, just with all the in-house issues they got going on, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go on a tear next season and just start throwing the football to piss off Matt LaFleur.
Hail Marys.
Yeah, he's just going to start just throw it probably till they end up seating him, or I don't know. But he's going to do everything he can to make sure that he gets traded out of there. I think he's absolutely had it with that bum, especially after the fact. Like, we could sit there and beat up on the draft all day, but the fact of the matter is, like, you trade up in the draft to replace a guy, that's fine. But then it's the most prolific wide receiver draft of all time, and you didn't pick up a single one. It was almost like a slight at the guy. And then not only that, too, from a head coach to, an ensuing player standpoint with Jordan Love, now he's fucked for the rest of the season, too, because besides Devontae Adams, they got nobody for the guy. So, like I said, the whole thing just seemed really petty from management all the way down to Rodgers. And it was just, I don't know. I think that this is going to be a rough season for Green Bay.
Well, in Aaron Jones, with them not having much options on offense, I think they're going to rely on him maybe too much. They're going to try to force him to do just more than what he can actually do with the limitations that they're going to have on offense. And, he could fuck around, potentially get hurt because he's trying to do too fucking much because they don't have anybody else out there. It's not going to be a cohesive unit. You're going to have Aaron Rodgers kind of rebellion, against every fucking thing, just trying to get his so he can get the fuck out of there.
Well, and Green Bay's defense isn't good anymore, dude. They lost a lot of crucial players in the offseason. They didn't really pick up any substantial replacements on defense. So, that's another thing you got to take into account, too, is how much the offense is going to be on the field and how productive they are because of the fact that the defense has enough time to, sit down and relax.
When you allow 186, 187 yards before fucking contact, you need to replace that whole fucking defense.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. So enough on that one. And there we go. I got the one for you. Bam.
Oh, okay. I got Aaron, number 10. For all the reasons that we listed, again, he's going to be a staple piece in that fucking offense. I got him lower on the list because of everything that we talked about. That's really it.
Agreed. So my unique character here is Kenyon Drake. I think, they traded for him midway through the season. They traded for him, right? I think is that what happened in Miami, or did Miami release him? I can't. Either way, they acquired him.
Yeah. No, I think Miami traded him.
Okay. Yeah. So he wasn't performing in Miami. Who really was? So they traded him to Arizona, and the guy he lit up like a Christmas tree, man. And then with as brutal as that offense has become during free agency, dude, Arizona's a scary team, man. And I think Kenyon Drake's going to have a beast of a season.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. Number 9. Okay. So I think here, we really got close to each other on what we really thought. Miles Sanders, I like what he did last year. He reminds me so much of Shady McCoy. So much Shady McCoy, but without the fucking attitude problems. He runs so similar to that guy. I think he's going to have a big year this year. That's why I got him at number 9.
I love it. Agreed. So Josh Jacobs had a great year last year. Oakland's going to really rely on the guy. He would be a good flyer for anybody that needs one round, middle rounds of the draft, of their fantasy draft. And bam.
Yes, sir. The reason why I picked him at number 8 again, I really liked what he did last year. Now, granted, we hate the fucking Raiders, but he is one person on the Raiders that I actually respect his talent. Okay. They revamped their whole offense to pretty much look like KC. Okay. But he's going to be that piece. I think all roads are going to lead through Josh Jacobs, then everything else will ensue after that. You got to remember, Derek Carr, he's a very conservative quarterback. He's not going to go out there. He's not going to try to lose the game. It almost feels like with them, with those fast receivers that they have running downfield, I can see a lot of checkdowns coming. I can see a lot because he doesn't like to push the football down the field, even though they went and got 2 burner wide receivers that's going to go vertical.
Right. Agreed. So I would say for the most part, you and I are pretty in tune with all this. I completely agree. So I have Joe Mixon higher for the simple fact that the Bengals as a team got really good this offseason. So you look at – obviously there's still issues going on. The management sucks. The overall atmosphere of the team sucks. But when you look at the team standpoint, they're still going to put up points. There's no way Joe Burrow is going to end up being a bust this season. The guy's just too much of a breakout character. He understands NFL offenses. I mean, they're simplistic to him. The way he processes the field, it's just going to open up the entire team. They went out, they got him offensive help. They got him deep threat receiver help this offseason. AJ Green's on the franchise tag. I mean, he hasn't signed it yet, but I'm going to guess he's still going to play. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, too, they didn't really draft anybody in replacement for Joe Mixon. So obviously they were satisfied with how Mixon performed last year. I think everything is benefiting Mixon this offseason for having a good year.
Agreed. Okay, I got Derrick Henry at number 7. Okay. Derrick Henry is not going to have quite the year that he had last year. But, I mean, let's face it. This 6'4", 250-pound motherfucker running at you, he's going to fucking bulldoze people. I mean, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. And I almost kind of feel that with everything being the way that it is, the way that all-season programs have been ran and stuff like that, I feel like they're going to rely on him really early on this year to kind of get things rolling, kind of get things acclimated. I don't know how much Tannehill is throwing, how comfortable he is with his receivers and different things like that. I mean, the best way to get over that is establish that ground game early and pound the fuck out the ball. And you got a fucking diesel that can fucking do it with Derrick Henry. I mean, dude, 6'3", 6'4", 250, fuck.
Yeah, they compare him to Von Miller, only in the running back. So, I have Alvin Kamara number 7. So Kamara was ranked number 16 last year. His major thing is he's getting older, and the Saints beat the living crap out of him. So, with Drew Brees not having the talent that he does anymore, I think they're going to rely heavily on Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to have a better season this year just because he's had more time to recover in the offseason. But I don't think he's – well, I got nothing negative to say. I think he's going to have a good year. Let me put it that way. So, obviously, he was ranked 16 last year. I got him at number 7. He's a good flyer for sure.
Good shit.
Bam.
Oh, okay. So, I got old Eckler at number 6. The reason why I got Eckler at number 6, I think Mike hinted at it earlier with there being, quarterback turmoil in San Diego. we don't know who's going to start, and if Tyrod Taylor starts, I mean, come on now. If you follow the NFL, you've seen Tyrod Taylor. I mean, come on, man. He's nothing to get excited about. Again, he's a quarterback. He's not going to go out there and win the game. He's going to do everything in his power not to lose the game for you and not to turn over the ball. And when Justin Herbert takes over at some point during the season, they're going to treat him with kid gloves, and they're going to make it real vanilla for him, I feel. So I think there's going to be a lot of check downs. I think it's going to be a lot of checking down to Eckler and let that dude run in space. You know what you have in him. He's now your primary running back, and he's your number 2 fucking receiver on the fucking team after Keenan Allen. I mean, so I think this guy's going to have a really big season this year.
Agreed. So I kind of swap seas. I'm going to copy you with the Miles Sanders thing. I mean, he's a more enthusiastic and less aggravating version of Shady McCoy. I mean, he didn't even really get a chance to come on until about maybe a third of the way through the season last year, and he still ended up being ranked number 15. The Eagles stunk. They were a bad team last year. I mean, Wentz pretty much single-handedly carried that team into the playoffs. They were that bad. This year won't be the case. So I think Sanders is going to have a beast of a season. They've got the deep field threat they need. They've drafted really well this year. I think, like I said, the Eagles are going to break out. Sanders is going to have a good season. That should be a deadlock for anybody. Boom.
Okay. As much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, you gotta give respect where respect is due. Zeke Elliott, he's a phenomenal fucking running back. I have him at number 5 until he proves me otherwise. There's a lot of receiving threats on that offense, and could that cut into his production? Absolutely. But I mean, he's been one of the best running backs in the league for a very long time, and I mean, I just don't. Again, they would have to show me or prove why he's not, top 5 in order for me to rank him anywhere less. I think his talent speaks for itself pretty much.
I love it. All right, well, I'm going to go a little bit further east in the same conference, and I'm going to take Saquon Barkley, who last year had a rough season, and it was kind of nagging injuries. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I honestly don't think their quarterbacks stink. I'll argue with anybody that Daniel Jones is going to end up being a bust. But, I mean, at this point this year, he's had enough off-season time, recovery time. He'll be fine. They've got a fresh head coach coming in that is a special teams coordinator. So he's going to play conservative all season. We all know he is. And he's going to be running the football a lot. And when you have one of the best bell cow running backs in the NFL, you're not going to underutilize him. You're going to run the living crap out of him. So he'll have a good season, but I just don't think their offense is going to really produce enough unless he has a lot of breakaways. They're not going to have a lot of explosive plays to be a dangerous contender. But so that's the only reason I didn't have him higher on this list.
And you have the red hair clapper as your OC, so you already know. I mean, come on, dude. You already know he's gonna rely heavily on Saquon Barkley.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the biggest deal about it is if Saquon Barkley doesn't break away, and I mean, I just don't trust Daniel Jones to throw the football down the field. So if Saquon Barkley doesn't run away and defense is scheme for him, he's screwed. Which we've already proven. No matter how much talent. What's Garrett's first name? Jason Garrett. No matter how much talent Jason Garrett has around him, dude, that guy, he's an 8-8 OC. So
he cannot win the big games.
Yeah, and he has way less talent with the Giants this year than he ever did with Dallas. So, all right, bro, go for it.
Oh, Dalvin Cook, bro. So how'd you get it right on yours, but on mine you fucked up? Fuck you. This fucking guy here.
It was a long day.
All right, so Dalvin Cook again. He's one of the more prolific running backs in the league. I mean, just had a fucking monster fucking season last year. And I mean, I think we'll start to see him come into his own as as time goes on. I mean, again, he can do everything. I mean, everything you can ask this guy to do, he can absolutely do it. So that's why I got him at number 4. When you start to get higher into the top fives and stuff like that, I mean, come on, dude. Like, if you don't know these running backs by now, what the fuck are you doing?
Hi, buddy. So I picked Chubb for the simple fact. Bear with me, guys. I'm sitting here looking up. I always forget the fucking head coach's name. You remember his name for the Browns?
Was Stefanski or some shit like that?
Yeah, Stefanski. That's it. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
So Stefanski came from the Gary Kubiak tree, which is pretty much the exact same as the Shanahan tree. Nick Chubb's going to have a beast of a running season. The offense is going to be a lot better than last year. Freddie Kitchens, man, I don't know what his deal was, dude. I mean, he was a gem as an offensive quarter that first year with Baker Mayfield, and last year he completely did away with everything that made Baker Mayfield good. So I didn't understand. Nick Chubb still had a fantastic season. So if Nick Chubb stays healthy, I'm sorry, Kareem Hunt is literally just there as a backup at this point, and he's expendable. Nick Chubb, I think he's going to be a prolific runner. So that's why I have him at number 4. He was number 6 last year, even on a bunk team. So he should have a breakout year.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Number 3, I got Alvin Kamara. The reason why I got Alvin Kamara at number 3, last year was a down year for him with injury. He has had a long time to recover. And also, anybody who had an injury last year, you better be fucking recovered. I mean, you've had a long time, not a lot of activities, different things like that to get yourself healthy. Also, let's face it, Drew Brees is getting on the wrong side of his career. You'll start to see this year be the year that he really slows down, I feel. So a lot of it is going to boil down to his playmakers making plays after the catch. And I think Alvin Kamara is going to be the best person inside of that offense this year.
I agree, man. That's one of those coin toss things where he either has a prolific year or just absolute shit, since Drew Brees he's decaying at this point.
Yeah.
So they might end up relying heavily on the run this season. I have Derrick Henry. The fact that they really have no offense, I mean, other than a very good tight end, and A.J. Brown is an outstanding receiver, so that was definitely a hit. I don't really think they missed anything with what's his name leaving, heading over to the Browns. I can't remember the tackle's name off the top of my head, but I mean, for the most part, they still have the same offensive line. They drafted a replacement. I think they'll be fine. I think Derrick Henry's still going to have a big season, even more so since we know what Tannehill is. And if they can't rely on Tannehill to throw the football, it's just going to get handed off to Derrick Henry. And I mean, like you said, the guy's an absolute gorilla. How's anybody going to stop him? They've proven for the last 2 years that they can't. So
I do not disagree with that. Now, he's going to have a shit game when they run across the Broncos, but, I mean, hey, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, they shut him down. They shut him down last season. So
he's going to have a shit game against the Broncos. All right, so I have Saquon Barkley at number 2. There's not a lot of bright spots on that offense. It's just not a lot of bright spots on that offense. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you cannot tell me with a straight face Dan Jones is going to go out there and win you the fucking game. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. You know, whoever was barking on Twitter about this shit, hey, bro. Like, hey, man. I mean, hey, dude, I understand. You know, you want to rep your team. I mean, hey, I would be the same way with Drew Lock if somebody else came at me like that. I mean, ride or die for your team and for your starting quarterback. But I personally, I don't see it myself. But, hey, I digress. Saquon Barkley, again, they're going to rely heavily on this guy. And why wouldn't you? He's literally the best person on your fucking offense. Yeah. I mean, I line that motherfucker up at Z, X, Y, W, P, N, Q, A, B, C. I don't care. Line him up anywhere on offense. The dude is a baller. I mean, he's really the only shining star on your offense. So
You're really on the
how
team.
could he not? Honestly, how could he not?
Really on the team, dude. I mean, that's a really weak team. And I'm not throwing shade at him. I mean, that's just the reality. It's not even on paper. It's just the reality. Their team's not good.
I agree.
So I mean, it's 2 years in a row they've been a top 5 draft.
So, man.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's going to end up being 3. So, but yeah,
I love how you have Zeke looking like Chewbacca, or just some black dude.
Just put a random black guy.
Just some random homeless black dude.
How the fuck is that guy black to you? Are you legitimately?
He looks like, dude, I can see through the fucking fake beard and hair and shit. Some random homeless black dude as Zeke Elliott. That's disrespectful, man.
Tell me that doesn't look just like him.
Dude. It looked like him when he was playing his little Zoom thing and he got caught smoking weed.
Yeah, dude. So if anybody didn't get the reference, this is an Ewok from Star Wars. And like, I mean, you can't even tell the difference, to be honest with you. When I first typed in Ezekiel Elliott, I was like, oh, look, there he is right there. So I wanted to make sure to get all the different angles from him, both pre-draft and post-draft. So we got the one of him in uniform. Now we got the one of him while he was at Ohio State. So, but yeah, no, he's going to have a beast of a year. There's no way he can't. Dak Prescott's going to be playing out of his mind this year just because he's going to be playing somewhere else next year. So he's going to be doing everything he can to get paid. Their offense is insane. There's just no way around it. Their offensive line's prolific. Their wide receiving core is fantastic, insane. Zeke has no contention in the running game. So the only confusion is whether or not Tyler Biadasz, or I guess concern would be Tyler Biadasz at the center position, if he pans out or not. But I mean, either way, A gap, B gap, it doesn't matter. Zeke is just too much of a diverse running back to have any issues. He's going to have a great season. Even in a down year, he's still a top 5 running back.
For sure. Hate to admit it, but yeah, I agree. Oh, look at here.
Boom.
We fucking agreed on something. All right, y'all, let's face it. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is a motherfucker, okay? He is by far the best receiving running back on this whole entire list.
He's the best running back, period. Doesn't matter what it is.
Now, running in between the tackles and stuff like that, we really can get real nitpicky on shit like that. But, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is number 1 for a reason. Now, firmly, I believe this year, the reason why he's going to have such a good season is because Teddy Bridgewater really going to drop back and is he really going to throw the ball 40 sometimes a game? Don't think so. Don't think so. Let's examine this here. Who has the big contract? Your running back has a bigger contract than your quarterback. That should tell you something there. That's who the offense is going to operate through. Now, I've said it. Teddy Bridgewater can have one hell of a year doing dump-off passes. I mean, to DJ Moore and to Christian McCaffrey, only thing you got to do, drop back, dump the ball off, and just let them run in space and let them do what they do best. That dude is going to have a monster of a year. And this year, he's not playing with the shit quarterbacks that he played with last year. Let's face it. The quarterbacks last year, I mean, he had a hell of a season, and they didn't help him any. I mean, God, some terrible fucking quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, God damn it. What's his name? Baylor coach. Wow, I'm dropping his name.
Rule.
Yeah, Matt Rule. Thank you. Yeah, so with Rule taking over, Rule is – I believe Rule is going to be the best rookie head coach this season in my heart of hearts. He didn't get any offensive people at all in the draft. Excuse me. But what they did defensively, that team's going to be relentless. And Christian McCaffrey, He may end up having a better year next year, not this one, but the following year. But this one, he's still going to be the best running back in the NFL. So that's a testament to how good this guy is going to be in the future. So if he stays healthy, he's just basically the Adrian Peterson of our generation, or I guess our generation, the Adrian Peterson of this generation.
You know, if anybody watch Baylor and watch how Matt Rhule runs his offense, he will spread you out and he will hurt you that way.
Yeah.
And it fits so much to what he already has there. That's why it wasn't a dire need to go out, oh, we got to scramble and get offensive players for what you already had them there. Only thing you needed is a quarterback. You got a serviceable quarterback that can run his offense, that can push the ball down the field, that can do check down passes and just let your players run in space. And I mean, he has the ideal people for that. And again, Christian McCaffrey, I mean, again, if Bridgewater just dumps the ball off to him 5 yards and just let that dude run in space, I mean, that dude's still gonna have 2,000 yards.
It's going to be a great year. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this segment. Like I said, we hope you enjoyed it. Everything about this is to help you guys out, and anything that we can do, I guess, to help out the team, help out the group, help out the community that we're trying to accumulate here, establish. And, yeah, like I said, don't forget, go ahead and take us out, my friend.
All right, everybody. That was our second installment of the Uncommon Man Podcast Fantasy Draft. Be on the lookout for another one. We'll stick to the offensive side of the ball next week. Next episode, we'll do wide receivers, and, we'll go position groups. Then we'll go to the big uglies. Then we'll go over to the defense. So, again, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you later.
That's right. Make sure subscribe down here. Follow us. All the links. We're going to make sure that they're all in the titles now. So all you got to do is just click right there as a quick reference. Nobody has to go and try and search us. All right, guys. Enjoy. Have a good night.
Good night.